Hey crew, another bowling point here from 212 Health and Performance. We're going to talk again about thoracic mobility or upper back movement. Depending on what type of upper back or thoracic spine you have, some people have very flat up and back down thoracic spines where they don't actually have to do a lot of work to pull themselves into a position like this. And some people have very rounded upper thoracic spines. There's an ebb and flow and there's an hem and haw as far as which is best for you and which is probably going to work out better for you as far as your body type, the length between your hips and your shoulders, and also how well you move inside of those positions. Again, some people that have a very, very flat thoracic spine need to create more rounding of the upper back. Not necessarily rounding of the shoulders, but pushing out away from the midline. And then some people have very extended, meaning really pulled back. Some people are very, very good. If you want to think about maybe people that spent time in the military, they're very chest out, shoulders are pinned back and down, and their head and torso is very upright. That can be a very extended position. As good as that might feel, and it might look, it is not always the best thing for each individual. Some of that excess pulling back and down can lead to different issues elsewhere in the body. So to differentiate that, we're going to do the bench T-spine mobilization. What you're going to need is you need a dowel, maybe a broomstick. Like we had talked about before, having something like this handy in the house. Doesn't have to be pretty. You also need a spot to lay your elbows on, maybe a hassock or the corner of a table. There are multiple ways you can do this. If you're in the kitchen, you can do this on the kitchen counter. You just have to be mindful about how much space you're creating. When coming down, your elbows will be on the edge and your palms, you want your palms up on your dowel. When doing so, you're not going to crank back to the point where you're shoving your chest to the floor, but what you want to create is as much of an exhale as you rock your butt back towards your heels as you possibly handle. So things we don't want to see. Just like in your yoga push-up or on a shoulder press, you don't want to be slamming your chest down to the floor and your butt back to your heels to the point where you're shoving your arms in a position that are just going to be painful at the top of the shoulders. A lot of times what we see is people say, oh, that's a great stretch for my upper back and my triceps, but man, my shoulders still hurt. Play around with the position of your elbows, seeing how your elbows are going to be right in line with your palms. When you're pulling back like that, yeah, you're going to get a stretch in these triceps. It's very important, but the other part is getting a stretch in the upper back while maintaining a good position of your rib cage. And what I mean by that is if you have your elbows as far back behind you as possible, but your ribs are flared up and out, expanding out, that's at the expense of your low back, and you're not really getting that thoracic stretch we're looking for. Remember, thoracic area is from the top of the rib cage up just below the neck. So if you have a very rounded or flat T-spine, you're going to sit back and then you're going to pull those rib cage, pull your ribs down and exhale as you rock back. If you have a very flat T-spine, this is going to be a little bit different stretch. You're going to actually tighten up your stomach and round out your upper back. And this is going to be a bigger stretch in your upper shoulder area and in your triceps. There should be a subtle difference between the two of them, where you're flattened out and where you're rounded. Anywhere from 5 to 8 reps, give those a try. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.